to also provide a special welcome to Pastor Aaron Bronner, who's here from the Perry Nazarene Church, and he will bring our invocation. Aaron, if you'd like to step to the podium.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's pray together. Father, thank you for this time that we get to come together and talk about this community and make decisions. And I just pray that you would unify this council, that their hearts would, as they are. Lord, we know that they're for the good of this community. We're just so thankful for each of them and the time that they put forth. And we just pray that you would lead and guide them, and that you would lead and guide all the conversation and the decisions that are made tonight. Lord, we place it all in your hands. I pray that you would be here among us. We know that you are. We love you. We pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you. Yeah.
To get home on Sunday. Unless they just re-up, you know. I wouldn't blame them. It sounded as tight.
It's on the dog.
Well, it just was a sore throat, and then I started coughing. And that's pretty much all it is.
All around.
We just need so many.
I'll just ask you to do that.
I do too.
Yep.
That's completely hard about that, so it's hard.
I believe it is now 7 o'clock by my watch, so I'll call the meeting to order. Thank you all for attending and ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you take roll call, please?
Hammond.
Here.
Larry Lambert. Mike Connell.
Here.
Bob Porter.
Here.
Chad Fuller. Keena Dunn. Here. Jacob Buffer.
Here.
Chad and Larry are absent.
And they are both excused. We had prior notice that they wouldn't be here. Looking for approval of our agenda for tonight.
I move that the agenda be adopted as printed.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And looking for reading and approval of the minutes of our previous meeting, which was held February 15th.
I move that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the February 15th, 2024 regular meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Chad, no, from Jacob. Sorry, Jacob. Seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Do we, I don't think we have any pre-approved reports or presentations, Shirley, do we? Okay, so we'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? Move on then to communications. Shirley, do you have any for us?
So I handed out a disclosure. I'm sure everybody's received that. Just a yearly thing that I have to provide. I also handed out an email, copy of an email that came just a few days, I think on Tuesday, I think I got it, for item number 3 on the agenda. And then also I handed out a flyer for item number 7 on the agenda. So we'll talk about those later.
Did everybody receive those? Okay, good. Moving on then to mayor reports. I do have just one report, and that's in regard to a tornado drill that's going to take place here in the city. Dan Monroe from Sussex called today and wondered if they could use the tornado siren for a statewide drill May 20th at 1 o'clock. I told him that was fine. The schools are on board with it. They'll do tornado drills at the school when that happens. And if anybody knows anybody who needs to know that, so they're not scared or worried or anything like that, please pass that word along. Megan will post that on the city website and other appropriate places. And I think that's all I've got. So let's move into department head reports. And Megan is absent, so she won't be.
I do have some stuff.
Oh, you have something? Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead
Yep.
then. Yeah.
So Megan delivered the tax roll to the county this morning. Residents with delinquent tax bills should give the county 1 to 2 weeks to process the data and transfer any balances into their system before they try to pay their past due tax payments. Payments for 2023 and older taxes can be made at the county. Any payments sent to our office will be returned to the sender. Department heads will meet tomorrow to discuss our first round draft of the budget as a whole in preparation for future work sessions with the council. This has to do with item number 7 also, the bank depository, so I think we can just talk about that one
Okay.
next time. So,
Sure. Kevin, do you have anything for us tonight?
We've done some DPW things over the last month, so working on our service line inventory inspections. We've done 3 service replacements and fixed a low flow issue on a house. We have several more services identified that need changing. This again is, we're finding galvanized services in our system, and we cannot prove that they were never previously connected to lead, so it meets the requirement for changing. We've been working through this since before I started, so we budget for it every year. It's a budgeted expense, and we're just fulfilling our obligation to our residents and the state as far as that goes. We'll keep working on those as the schedule allows. We're able to get some in early because the weather broke for us pretty early and there's no frost in the ground, so it's kind of nice to get a head start on that. On the sewer front, we had power outage the other night, and when we were investigating and doing maintenance for the power outage, we noticed there was an issue with the pump station in front of Carl's Market. There was water in the service area and there's not supposed to be, so we did further investigation and found out that we need a pump repaired. We just did one probably less than 6 months ago, and it's had the same amount of time and wear as this one does, so they pretty much go, I was going to budget to replace this one anyway, but it's come to the end of its life, so we have to now do the repair. So we're running on one pump there until we can get it fixed. We work with THI for in emergency sewer situations like that, so they've come out and done their assessment and is ordering parts to get that repaired. We're doing our spring lagoon discharge. We're discharging over 1 million gallons a day. We're doing, the first one is a 10-day runoff. We'll do another one again in 30 days or so. Currently, we're working on a sewer repair on Washington Street. It was over 12 foot deep, and it took a little longer than expected. I was expecting a day, maybe 2. They did get it repaired today and got the house lateral reconnected, and they got it backfilled and compacted, but we need to finish filling the hole and start on restoration beyond that. So we'll be working on that again tomorrow. That line was scheduled for relining, which council approved earlier in this budget year. When they did the cleaning and the TV inspection of that section of pipe, they found a break in the pipe, and we had to do a physical repair on it so that they could line the rest of it. It was so blowing on the bottom that it had to be repaired manually. So we've been working on that this week. I talked to the mayor about that, and she signed the emergency purchase order for that to get that done so we could continue with our sewer flows as normal. It could also be a source of sewer leaking into the ground or infiltration water coming in, so it was very important that we get that fixed as soon as possible. That type of repair isn't budgeted, but we build in extra funds in the budget for repairs like that, so we should be okay there. I guess this could also be a committee report, but the signs on Bath Road that we talked to council about have been installed, the suggested speed limit signs. The Shiawassee County Road Commission installed those for us. The suggested speed is 25 miles an hour when pedestrians are present. It's not enforceable, but we're warning people that people use the road too. So for now, that's the best we could do to make it safer out there. I'll call and get an update soon on the gutters for this building. The second half that we talked about for approval last time. They wanted to wait for warmer weather so they could do longer runs, is the explanation that I got. The brush grinding at the DPW garage, he told me if he's not here next week, he'll be here the following week to get that project started. I know he said after the new year, and now we're into the second quarter. Apparently he was plagued with breakdowns, and then that storm got them busy again, that came through, so he said we are on the schedule and he'll get here as soon as he can. And then I ordered the new zero-turn mower.
Good.
Beyond that, if anyone has any questions, I'll take a break and come back up when we talk about other items.
Any questions for Kevin, anyone? No? Okay, we've seen a few. Shirley?
Okay. So the election was last Tuesday. It went off with a couple issues, but we made it through. The tabulator quit working. So Caroline from the county brought me her tabulator. We switched things out, and then everything was great. And just a couple other little hiccups, but everything was good, so I'm glad that's behind me. Hopefully the next one will be just like a piece of cake. The other thing is reminder about the public hearing on March 21st for the public safety assessment. The other thing is we still have the nominating petitions for the the 2 council seats that are open for 4-year terms, 1 council seat open for a 2-year term, and then the mayor seat, which is open for a 2-year term. I think that's probably
When's the deadline for the petition?
April 23rd. So if you need to come in and get one, come grab a couple, and then I have to have them by the 23rd of April. Yes. I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Police Chief Kyle Locks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just have a few brief things. First, we participated with Shiawassee County in the last human oppression op that they conducted. Sergeant Monroe and I participated along with several other agencies, including the Sheriff's Department and Genesee County Sheriff's Office. And it was a successful night, and a lot of good was done. And we will continue to put our efforts into arresting these very sick people. That's how I'll leave it. I have been in contact with Families Against Narcotics, or otherwise known as FAN. They are a Michigan-based organization. I believe they're a nonprofit. They claim to be a grassroots organization. Regardless, they have a program that they coordinate with law enforcement on called Hope Not Handcuffs. And this allows someone with an addiction problem to come into the police department and say, I have a problem with narcotics. And essentially what we do on our end is make that phone call to Hope Not Handcuffs, and they bring one of their representatives down, usually in about a half an hour, and they come sit with them and do an intake process for their program. I see no reason why we can't do that. So several other agencies are participating in that, and I have said for over a decade that we're not going to handcuff our way out of this epidemic. And that being said, I believe this is probably the best opportunity for us to not take enforcement action, but take appropriate action that's needed. So we haven't implemented or rolled that out yet, but I've been working with them on an agreement and some language, and we'll have some training for the officers. It's pretty low key as far as what's needed or required, but there's absolutely no reason why we can't do something like this. Day or night, I talked to the ladies in City Hall, and I believe that they're more than willing to help and accommodate whoever walks in the door saying, I have a problem. So, excited about getting that ball rolling. And since before the last meeting, I've been working with the Red Cross on the site evaluation for our City Hall building. If they ever needed a shelter, they do an assessment. They measure all the available space, bathrooms, any kitchen area, floor space, elevator, stairs, all of that. They evaluate all of that so that if we ever had the need to call them to use our space to shelter people, they can come in with the appropriate resources and aid us in that process. There was an agreement that I passed on to them. I ran it by the mayor and the city attorney, and there was a bit of a hiccup with the financial part, which I'm not worried about. There's very little that we as a city are going to charge the Red Cross if we call them asking for help.
Yeah.
That being said, it is somewhat formal as far as this agreement goes, and it's checks and balances for both sides, just to make sure that everything is as they have observed it, but also that we're protected on our end also. So that has been signed and passed on. No, actually it hasn't been passed on. He's going to come get it hopefully tomorrow. But I appreciate the formality that was behind this, and it wasn't just, hey, call us if you need anything. He actually measured the upstairs to know what we have, counted all the bathrooms in the building, took into account the elevator and a bunch of other I wouldn't say amenities, but other utilities that we have available to us, and especially considering we're putting in a standby generator and we'll have full-time access to power. So those are the main things that I've been working on. Otherwise, we've been business as usual.
Anyone else have questions for Kyle? Anyone?
Thank you for both of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
All right.
Thank
you.
We'll move into committee reports. Any committees have a report? There's nobody else here from Parks except you, Jacob.
So, we did meet, it was the night of the CESA meeting and the night of the election night. So we just met up in the upstairs, and we went over, we're gonna reach out to a couple of food trucks for the city event. So what do they call it?
July.
Yes, I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Fun night.
Yeah, family fun night.
Yeah.
Maybe give my notes, sorry. Should I more prepared? Yep, so organize, we have a couple food trucks. I was waiting for Megan to isolate one that she wanted to that was local. If not, we're gonna look at a couple other ones.
Okay.
The Memorial Park has definitely gained some interest from some of the businesses downtown. Sounds like we're nearing that kickoff for our crowdfunding campaign. A couple people that are ready to commit to some dollar amounts. And then Megan, I think, was just waiting to get approval and may have gotten approval for the crowdfunding.
She did. She
Yeah.
got approval today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
She
so
told
that's
me
news to me.
Mhm.
So once we get that, we'll set the date, start it, and then we'll set the dollar amount. I think the last time we were setting it for 12.5, but might be bumping that up due to some large donation recommendations that people have put out there.
Good.
And then, we also tried to get me, Chad, and Megan to meet with school. Chad, I think, was out for work, but Megan and I did do a school tour with Dr. Lori Haven. She's got a couple ideas for how we can work together on some things and get more community involvement, which I thought was a good exercise. So the Parks Committee and her are going to try to work together on some things.
Wonderful.
Yep. So that's it.
Any questions for Jacob? Okay. Any other committees for reports? We're going to hear from personnel later regarding their meeting. Okay, moving on then to presentation and approval of the bills.
I move that we approve the bills, excuse me, as presented and payment be authorized.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We don't have any old business listed, so we'll move right into new business. And the first thing we need to do is fix what we did before, because when we reappointed Genevieve Cottrell and Jared Lytle to the Planning Commission, the motion only approved it for a year in their 3-year terms. So we just need to redo those. If council is acceptable to that, we need to redo those motions with the correct term.
We just need to read the motion, or do you want us to read the whole?
Just the motion.
Yeah, just the motion.
I move that we reapprove, or that we approve the mayor's appointment of Gerald Lytle to the planning commission with the term expiring January 1, 2027.
Second.
All those in favor of that motion by Jacob, seconded by Mike, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And now looking for one for Genevieve.
I move that we approve the mayor's reappointment of Genevieve Cottrell to the planning commission with a term expiring January 1st, 2027.
Second.
So we have the motion now from Mike, seconded by Jacob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you for that. Now we have before us the Ross, DeLue, and Perry Pride Awards. And Shirley has given you the map. And what's the discussion? Do we need to
I
have?
think Larry just said that we needed to discuss it and make sure everybody was okay with their sections of
Oh,
town.
with their
Do they
area.
want to switch it up this year, like a different section? Do you know where you were at? And so, Jacob, did you?
I wasn't here last year. I was later in the year.
Right, so I think we were,
So-
yeah, because the way it happened.
But I'm
everything
okay
was-
with my planning district.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
like I
walking
said,
around.
as long as everybody's okay with it,
Okay,
it's
all right, very
good.
good.
So you're not in your own neighborhood, right?
No.
Okay,
no.
okay, good.
We walk over there, that's
Okay.
fine. No, so.
All right.
All right, so we'll move on. Okay, our next item is something that came in front of us. There was an emergency at 131 West 2nd Street regarding the water running for quite a long time before it was noticed, and so it accumulated quite a high bill. Megan has given us that information, and I'll just read from her email that the leak incident resulted in a water usage reading for the month of 270,100 gallons before water was noticed by a neighbor running out, and then DPW went down and shut the water off, and the homeowner was notified. The estimated bill for this month was $1,052.94. That includes $897.14 in water usage. Now, we did get then an email from Erica Sheets, who is the owner of the building. They're in the process, I understand, of renovating it, and they're asking for council's consideration to forgive or reduce the bill since it was an accident and so high. I bring that to council because in our charter, it does say, in those cases where a special charge for water should be made because of special circumstances, council may establish special rates and charges by resolution. And it also indicates that any change to the bill itself has to be approved by council. Now, I did have discussion both with Shirley, who is very involved in the utility billing and has been for years, and with Kevin in regard to that. Do either of you want to add to that information?
Do you want to first, or, so I just know we've had other instances where we've had somebody's pipes break, used 85,350 gallons of water. They paid their bill. In our ordinance 1040.3, it says no free service shall be furnished by the water system to the city to any person, public or private, or to any public agency or instrumentality, is that how you say that? Charges for services furnished by the system shall be billed and collected and established by the current schedule of utility rates and charges. I've always been told nobody gets free water. The water runs through the meter, they're charged for it. If they need to make payment arrangements, we make payment arrangements and accommodate them so they don't receive penalties during that time if they stick with their payment arrangement. I do have to say that if the water is forgiven, then every person who has a water softener that leaks for days and days and days and uses 20,000 gallons of water, you're going to have to
Give
consider that
consideration
too.
to,
Yeah, everybody who has a drippy faucet, you know, and just the way it is.
Yeah, we do want to be careful about
Yeah.
setting precedent for that
Yeah.
type of thing.
I
I have
did,
one question.
yeah.
The 872 is just the water, it's not a sewer part of it, correct?
Yes, 872.42 is just the water
Just
portion.
water,
Their
okay.
whole entire bill is $1,054 and the bill is in your packet.
So the water portion is the 870.
870, but the,
5294, yep.
Am I
and
understanding
then the
that?
other $200 would be the, or roughly 1,000, yeah, see, this email says 800,000 gallons. And I started doing, it's like, okay, my parents had a swimming pool, and that was like 60,000 gallons to fill that thing out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
the house would have been overflowing out the window.
It was overflowing.
So-
That's why they saw, that's why they
Somebody
realized,
finally
the
saw it.
neighbors saw the water coming out from the second story.
Oh
And
my Lord.
And
That-
I did
Yeah.
bring the water bond, the water supply bond. It does say in here, no free service.
Yeah.
No free service shall be furnished by the system to the city or to any individual, firm, or corporation, public, private, or any agency, and that's the exact same thing I just read.
so if we give out free water, we're in violation and would have to pay. We don't want to do that. But we can make arrangements for a small payment each month until it's brought up without charging any interest or anything like that.
Penalties.
Hey, can we give them special terms, like 6 months to pay this bill off?
I'd give them as long as
No.
they need to pay it. If they wanted
Yeah.
to pay $25 a month toward it, that would be fine.
I think we do need
A
to
little bit
keep
more
in
than
mind.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, I try to work with people as much as I
Yeah, I agree,
to
and I
pay it.
think.
It's not just water, is all I was gonna say. Keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
It's all, that was treated water.
Right.
That's all the cost of all that.
We pump it out of the
Yeah,
ground, pump
yeah,
it into the
yeah,
tank,
so
treat
it's-
it, pump it up to the, yes, I
It's
know.
not just water. So, further discussion?
So I want to go back to the sewer thing. I didn't want, because I can kind of see not charging for sewer.
Right.
Evan, this would be a question for you, really,
We
I
can
think.
prove that it didn't go down the drain, it was coming out the side of the house. It looked like the
Okay.
pipe burst on the outside wall in an upstairs bathroom and was basically coming straight out. So if we wanted to do something on the sewer side of things,
That'd be the only thing, because I don't want to, because I know it's kind of like gallon for gallon. We
No.
assume almost that
No,
we use, it's not quite. What is our ratio?
$39.42, that's the monthly sewer rate.
No matter how many gallons of water you use?
It's
Really?
not a water in, water out.
Oh.
It's just
Okay,
a
my bad, I thought it was.
flat fee, yep. Mhm.
so there's
Look
really,
at that.
really no way to save there.
Right, it's only $30. I thought it was basically in and out. If I took in 10 gallons, it's not 10 gallons actually went out, so it'd be a percentage of that.
Right. They do that in some,
That's
in
why,
some cities,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we don't do it here. We just pay that, they just pay that flat,
Flat fee.
yep, $39.42 a
Okay.
month.
I also just think, you know, we're not, you know, after the tornado, we're not really in a position to, you know, it's unfortunate, but we're not really in a position to, you know, we're just not.
Well, it's for several reasons.
Yeah.
The biggest one
It's
being
the-
that the bond says
Yeah.
no free water.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be very
Yes.
careful of that.
Is there a way that we could have this automatically withdrawn from the checking account, so it's just comes in every month without delay?
Well, we'll have to look and see how that will work, because I just know that ACH is whatever is sent, whatever your bill is.
Right.
If my bill was $300 and it was sent to the bank,
Right.
I
So
don't
this
know
would
if
be
you
like a
can,
separate, I don't know if you can do a separate.
yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to, if, whatever, call BSNA and see what they say. But
Or
yeah,
then we can talk certainly with the homeowner and see how they want to handle that. And then Shirley can check with
yeah.
ACH and see what's available.
Mhm.
And just for the record, we recommend any vacant homes that are left unattended, call us for a water shut off.
Shut the water
It's
off.
only $30 and we can guarantee that that won't happen to you.
Right.
So
Yes.
just want to put that out there as well.
Yes.
Did you want to say anything else, Kevin? Sorry, kind of.
You guys covered everything I was gonna, so thank you.
I move that we do not approve to forgive the water usage of 270,100 gallons in the amount of $872.42 due to the failure of residents' furnace at a vacant home located at 131 West 2nd Street, which caused the pipe to freeze, break, and leak, causing excessive water usage. As the ordinance 1040.03 free service prohibits, states, no free service shall be furnished by the water system to the city to any person, public or private, or to any public agency or instrumentally, excuse me. Charges for the service furnished by the system shall be billed and collected as established by the current schedule of utility rates charges as established by the city council and amended from time to time by city council.
Second.
I would ask before we vote on this, Bob, that you would maybe add that
We can,
Shirley has permission to work out payment arrangements.
I believe we can arrange payments for repayment or payment of this bill for up to 12 months.
Thank
Good with
you.
that, Mike?
Yep.
I was gonna add that and I stopped.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We now have a motion on the table from Bob, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. So we'll turn that back to you, Shirley, to be in touch with them. Moving on then to new business item number 4, possible approval of a paving quote. Kevin, do you want to tell us about that?
I had a representative from Spartan Paving come out and look at First Street between Main and Madison. That was on the schedule to be repaved. It's been on the grant application for a couple of years, so it's next in line. We're also going to take that opportunity to add some grade and drainage issues with sloping of the pavement toward the drains and make the sidewalk more accessible. I know Mr. Porter and I talked previously about a drainage issue there. We've added a drain in there, and then we just did a temporary patch in anticipation that this is going to be repaved. So coming in under budget, and they are an approved asphalt provider for the state of Michigan through their MyDeal program. So we get that pricing. They didn't write up a specific MyDeal contract, but I think they're probably giving us a little bit of a better deal than what the state would recommend we get, so. So I bring it to council for approval so we can do our paving before the budget end. And they're the ones that did Lamb Street here last year, and it turned out really well. Very pleased with their work, so.
You called them Spartan paving? This
I'm
is
sorry, Michigan.
Michigan, okay, I just want to make sure.
I think he used to be Spartan.
I could be. Just making sure we were talking, it's the same amount of money, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same company.
Yeah, I apologize.
I move that we approve the quote from Michigan Paving and Material to pave East First Street between Main and Madison. The price is not to exceed $68,790. We authorize Kevin Tyler, DPW Superintendent, to sign the contract and schedule the work.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Number 5 on our agenda, possible approval of military generator quote. Kevin?
This is the military generator that we got from the program that Kyle belongs to for free. We haven't been able to use it in its current state. It's set up to run military applications and not set up for us to run plugs into. Would have been handy during the tornado as it sat there idle to help power lights and parking lots and work areas. And per the recommendation of PERT, the Perry Area Emergency Response Group, that we rig it so that, kind of like the county emergency response team has the generator set up so that you can just, if you have to, run extension cords off it, and that's how they powered the fire station when the power was out during a tornado. We're also gonna have a lead wired in there so it can run one of our sewer stations. We have one that runs on 110 power, and then it uses UFVs to create the 3-phase. So it's more than capable of running that, and if we can find other uses for it along the way, we will certainly do so. But in order to get it set up and ready for us to use, we have to have the work done to it. So I got 2 quotes based on that. It's trouble finding people that want to work on that type of equipment. Motor City agreed, and then Mr. Leonard agreed. He's done one before, and he sounded very confident that he could get us a good product that we can use down the road. So
Is it not diesel?
it is.
These quotes are really different, but why, I mean, is there any?
I think probably Motor City has a little more overhead and more employees, and they're just bigger in general. And he wasn't really sure, he was kind of on the fence about wanting to do it, and he said, if you drop it off here and I can work on it, you know, in the spare time, then I can do it for under this price.
Okay.
There's a couple differences, but it's minor. Like Lennon has a 50-foot 6/4 cord. They have 2 100-foot number 6 cords from Motor City, so but they can't be $4,000 or $5,000 difference.
But yeah, okay, all right. Any more questions for Kevin regarding this generator work?
I move that we approve the quote from Non-Electric in the amount of $2,800 to rewire the generator. We authorize Kevin Tyler to sign the contract and schedule the work.
We have a motion from Jacob, seconded by Keena. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And now on to the next item under new business, which is the possible approval of the City Hall security upgrade. Kevin, you want to speak to that?
S.A. Norman came back out, walked through with us, looked at the building. We're trying to allocate or use those funds from the COPS grant. And this is the best way we found to do it, is focus all of our attention on the main building, which we gain the most benefit from. And then he said, once we get the initial system set up, it'll reduce the cost of adding on other facilities to it, because we'll already have the base done. So down the road, we can look at putting security options on other buildings down the road and adding to it. But to utilize that money for security per the grant that we were given, this is my recommendation on how we spend that money and get this building secured with card access. It'll help with the rental situation, it'll help with council, and it will help with the food bank, people coming and going, turning cards on and off, managing that type of thing. So I recommend using SA Warren to fulfill that obligation. We have some older quotes from other companies that we've all seen. If you're not comfortable with this quote and this company, then I can definitely have them come back out. But everybody now, the equipment that they have out there requires an annual fee, like a maintenance fee. We can't get away from that. This company, they said it would be about $700 a year that we would have to pay in fees to keep the system activated and maintained. Other companies, it seemed more expensive when I talked to them about the setup and the maintenance fees.
Of the grant money, what is, 42,000, is that all covered by the grant?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did, speaking of grant, and we know we had more work that we originally had included in our estimate of the work when we applied for the grant, but since so much time went by from initial application to awarding, all the costs went up so high, we don't have enough money through the grant to do the whole thing. So
everything doubled.
I did get an email from DOJ saying that those legislative grants are now going to be opening back up again, and so Megan's watching for COPS grant to come available. She'll use the information that we have now that's newer, showing the difference in the discrepancy between what we did get and what we needed to do, and we'll reapply for some more money and see if that flows.
I move that we approve the quote from S.A. Warman and Company to move forward with the City Hall security upgrade in the amount of $43,500. We also approve the $700 per year in manufacturer subscription fees to authorize Kevin Tyler, DPW Superintendent, or Chief Kyle Box to sign the contract and schedule work. Second.
Motion from Jacob, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
How does that feel?
It's been a long road, but now the fun begins. They get to come in here and tear this place apart and put it all back together. So, thank you all.
Thank you.
you.
Looking now for the information regarding our bank depository and approved check signers. We have Huntington Bank, PNC Bank, PFCU, and Consumers Credit Union. And we need to approve those as depositories and the check signers.
Do you want to hear what Megan said?
Yeah.
So Megan says that the city currently has accounts at Huntington and one small account at PNC. In an effort to distribute our funds to other institutions to increase the amount of FDIC insurance, Megan has identified 2 new banking sources for potential CD investments, PCFU and Consumers Credit Union. PCFU is a good option because it's located here in the city and the ease of banking. Consumers is offering very good CD rates and can handle all of our needs remotely. They are mostly based on the west side of the state, but will be opening 2 branches in the Lansing area. They have a dedicated municipality rep that can help with any CD and money market needs. The city will remain in Huntington and for day-to-day operations.
Any questions or need for clarification on any of that information from Megan?
And the map brochure I gave you was for the consumers because they are new, so.
I move that we approve the mayor's announced depositories for the city of Fairfield.
Second.
We have that motion from Mike, seconded by Jacob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now looking for the motion regarding check signers.
I move that we authorize any two of the following, mayor, treasurer, and clerk, to be the signers on city accounts.
Second.
Motion from Mike, seconded by Jacob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Well, we're just zipping right along here. The last item on our new business agenda is, well, no, it's the next to the last. Personnel Committee report, and Mike Connell is chair of that, so he's going to give that report.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read the minutes from the meeting. The Personnel Committee met on February 15th to discuss wages for both Megan Galbraith and Shirley Smith. Present were Mary Hammond, as well as Councilman Connell, Fuller, and Puffer. Discussion was centered on the structure of the current roles and responsibilities in the city office and how they have changed over the past few years. Previously, there were 4 full-time employees running the city office, which was reduced to 3 full-time employees, and currently there are 2 full-time employees, Smith and Galbraith, and a part-time employee. All the previous duties have been absorbed by the current staff, as well as some additional duties. The cost savings to the city is approximately $96,000 annually. After committee discussion, Smith and Galbraith were invited to join for further discussion. The mayor and all 3 councilmen were in agreement with both Smith and Galbraith that a $10,000 raise in salary would be satisfactory at this time. Councilman Fuller motioned for this, seconded by Puffer, and the motion carried 3-0. And that is to recommend to council that we approve the salary raise, not the actual salary raise.
Any questions or discussion in regard to that? I think we all kind of lived through all the changes that took place, but to make it a little clearer, the $96,000 that's being saved annually, a good portion of that is because we don't have 4 full-time employees. So there's no insurance, vacation, all of that really adds up quickly for 2 people. So 2 full-time and 1 part-time, but I see almost on a daily basis the work that Shirley and our city clerk and Megan, our treasurer, do, and they do it very well, very efficiently. They work well together, but they are truly doing the same work that 4 full-time people did before. So that's, and they do it very well.
You gotta read this whole thing.
I move that we approve the following resolution in regards to the treasurer, Megan Galbraith. Whereas the city personnel committee met regarding the salary of Megan Galbraith on February 15th, and whereas the city recognizes that the office staff over the past few years has gone from 4 full-time employees to 2 full-time employees, and that Megan Galbraith has taken on other duties in regards to utility billing and other staff support. Whereas as a result of the additional duties Megan has been performing warrants a pay increase. Therefore, it is resolved that Megan Galbraith shall receive a $10,000 salary increase effective the pay period beginning February 26, 2024.
Looking for a second?
Second.
We have a second from Mike. Was that you, Mike?
One, so.
Okay. We have a motion from Jacob, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Now looking for the same motion in regard to our clerk.
All you, Bob.
I move that we approve the following resolution in regards to the clerk, Shirley Smith. Whereas the city personnel committee met regarding the salary of Shirley Smith on February 15, 1920. 2024. And whereas the city recognizes the office staff over the past few years has gone from 4 full-time employees to 2 full-time employees, and that Shirley Smith has taken on other duties in regards to utility billing and other staff support. Whereas, as a result of additional duties Shirley has been performing warrants a pay increase. Therefore, it is resolved that Shirley Smith shall receive a $10,000 salary increase effective the pay period beginning February 26, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion from Bob, seconded by Keena. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. You're welcome.
Well deserved.
That completes our new business agenda. Is there any other business to come before council at this time? Anyone here for public comment? Council, do you have any discussions or observations you'd like to make? Do you have any agenda items you want to bring forth for the next meeting?
I only have one question about the public assessment. We didn't get a true budget number that we would be asking for.
That doesn't come until the
We have
next.
the hearing, okay.
We'll have the public hearing first, and then as a result of that, we'll come up with the actual number. No? Okay. Then, it is 7:52. This meeting is adjourned.